Welcome to another edition of Completely Unoriginal, your home for all things nerd-related. Kurt Campbell with you, as well as Adam St. Paul and Tony Zer also on the phone with us. Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Doing good. Ready for another week of news and discussion and possibly heated, angry swearing if it comes down to that. Who knows what's going to happen, but hopefully it won't lead to that. But so what's up? What's up this week, guys?
Well, we got a couple of topics to talk about. First, I'm excited because even though they're out of stock, not a shock at the price, I bought Batman R.I.P. which is one of Grant Morrison's seminal Batman stories, and also Black Mirrors, which is a good Scott Snyder Batman comic book, and they should be here hopefully once they get shipped, but they're like on sale right now at Amazon for like $8 a piece, so you're getting them for half price, which is definitely worth it, just to throw that out there.
I just want to talk like Grant Morrison for a minute, use his accent.
He does have an awesome
It's such a
accent.
soothing voice.
Yes, it really, really is. And also, there's, I guess, a couple of things. One, I think we'll review some movies that we've had a chance to see, just briefly talk about them. We'll also talk about The Killing Joke, which is Alan Moore's classic one-shot when it comes to comic books. They're turning that into a animated film, and DC does do very well in the animated film world, and some exciting news there. Mark Hamill, who is considered by many to be one of the classic Jokers, especially when it comes to voice, he has decided to sign on. And also, Channing Tatum is out as Gambit, or at least all signs point to out to being Gambit in the solo movie, in the X-Men cinematic universe and everything. And we're going to talk replacing him and all that stuff. But
I want to talk something briefly,
okay,
because I just have a small thing to bring to the table, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. I finally saw the trailer for Crimson Peak, the new Guillermo del Toro gothic horror romance film. This movie looks amazing. Have you guys seen the trailer yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh, my goodness. You got Tom Hiddleston, Loki. You got to love him. You got Jessica Chastain, Charlie Hunnam, who's worked with Guillermo before, of course, in Pat Grimm and was very good. And this movie looks gorgeous. He's using practical effects, real sets, setting it in a period that nobody makes films in, unless you're Merchant Ivory. Nobody makes that kind of film anymore. And once you see the trailer, I think you're going to be like, whoa, this looks good. So I tried to get Adam to watch it, and I said, you have to before we do the show. And he failed. So
what era are you talking about?
Now, I don't know the exact year because I didn't look too deeply at what's going on, and I don't want any spoilers, so I'm trying not to read about it. It's late 19th, early 20th century is what it looks like.
Okay.
Turn of the century, somewhere in there. Beautiful period costumes, sets, creepy as heck atmosphere. It just looks amazing. And I want you guys, this is your homework now. I'm assigning you each to watch the trailer and tell me what you think next week if we get a chance.
All right, that sounds...
So
I'm on it.
I'm trying to get people revved up for this because I love Guillermo. I think he's an amazing filmmaker.
I was going to say, you're a bigger fan of I like Guillermo del Toro, but you're a much bigger fan of his than I am.
Look, Pan's Labyrinth, hello. Don't you know he can do it. Devil's Backbone, another great horror film he did, which was in Spanish, so most people didn't see it, unfortunately. This is in English, and he's got a really good cast, and I think he's going to really amaze some people with this one. So I'm revving up the hype machine.
Well, I'm about to say, then we'll save that. We'll tab that for next week.
Very good.
On to Ant-Man. I did see Ant-Man. I really enjoyed it. Didn't get a chance to talk on about it on this podcast just because we didn't have a show last week. And, I'm not going to go into it a terrible ton because I thought it was great. I thought that Marvel knocked it out of the park again. It is a heist movie before it is a superhero movie, which is cool. They are doing that now. Kind of their one-shots are becoming, not necessarily the villain of the week one-shot as they can be at times.
Sure.
And even though it's a million times smaller than the Avengers, I almost liked it more than Age of Ultron just because it was a much more concise, much more concealed story. And it makes me sad that Edgar Wright was taken out of the project, but very good. And Tony, I wanted your opinion on Terminator Genesis. I saw on your YouTube channel, Tube's Review, you had the review up for Genesis. What did you think?
I thought it was terrible. I thought it was absolutely terrible, and there was not one redeeming quality about it, except for the fact that I did get to see like Terminator, like the what do you call it, the endoskeleton, the endoskeleton, like the machines. You get to see some cool beatdowns at the beginning with just machines, and that was really cool. But other than that, no.
So even Arnold at his worst is still charming and still can be fun to watch. So even he being in the movie wasn't a redeeming quality.
Well, like I say in my tube review of it, it would have been cool if he would have been a little bit more knowledgeable. But he's around he's around humans and interacting with Sarah Connor and people for the better part of like 45 years. And he's dumber than he was in Terminator 2 in the ways of human interaction and stuff like that. And that really bothered me because you'd think that he would have caught on a little faster, and so.
Yeah, okay.
But if you want to hear more, you just go watch my tube review.
Exactly. So keep going, though. The Mark Hamill announcement for the Batman animated series. I actually talked about this during our Comic-Con panel discussion. The fact that they announced that they were doing this graphic novel, or rather turning the graphic novel into an animated feature. DC does awesome jobs on that. And it looks like Mr. Tubes, he's walking in the studio right
now. Oh, well,
now.
Hey. It's a surprise appearance. Yeah. Hey, man.
I was in town.
Oh. Well, come on in.
Well, come on in.
You guys can share a mic.
I'll share it.
So, anyway, as I was saying, it is an interesting, or it's going to be great. It's not often that you see just a one-shot comic kind of resonate the way it has in the Batman mythos, because it is basically the most accepted version of the Joker's origin, and they're getting a great Joker back, and it is, I'm crazy excited for it, and I'm hoping that Kevin Conroy signs on to play Batman, because when it comes to Batman voices, he is
the voice.
Ultimate, for
There's
sure.
no question. He sounds like Batman should sound. There's no question in my mind on that one.
Mark Hamill, if you look at Mark Hamill, he's really just the geek god of everybody. He's been in a Kevin Smith movie, and he was in Star Wars. He was the trickster in The Flash, and he wants to come back and do the trickster again in the new Flash, from what I understand.
Oh, I hope so.
And then you have the Joker aspect, and I just think Mark Hamill's, he's going to make a lot more heads turn in the next couple years, I think.
He's a guy who's finally, for the longest time after Jedi was done, he couldn't get arrested in Hollywood. The guy, and to be fair, he did make that Corvette Summer film. But the less said about that, the better. But and then he started to work his way into animation and doing behind the scenes work, and built up a great reputation, deservedly so, for the talent he has at doing the voice work. He got the Joker role, and he's just kind of been steamrolling forward in popularity and working a whole lot more since then. So I say good for him. I think that's great.
I've been actually watching some of the old Batman animated series shows, and it just, you forget about how much fun they are and how well they're done. And for some reason, DC has just killed it when it comes to animated movies. Marvel. See, I like the Marvel films, I think, more than the DC ones, because they're bright and they're kind of colorful and they're energetic and everything like that. They do that too much in the animated movies, and it looks to me like more cartoonish for children versus, animation that can be enjoyed by multiple ages, including myself at 27 years old.
Right.
And this, when it comes to DC stuff, it's a little darker, it's a little gloomier, especially the Batman. And that is what makes me super excited for this. And, going back to the graphic novel, the actual story, I don't know if you guys are aware, and I'm going to go spoiler alert right here on it. This is a brutal story. The Joker violently shoots Barbara Gordon, and then mercilessly, or whatever the word is, tortures Jim Gordon to the brink of trying, I guess basically to drive him insane. And all the while Batman is sitting there trying to, chase him down and stop him. And if you believe Grant Morrison, he says that Batman kills the Joker at the end of it. So even though that's I don't think actually what happens.
No,
but that's what Grant Morrison says.
That would be a total slap in the face of Batman never killing.
Yeah.
But
that's why it's
canonical.
the ultimate. That's the ultimate Joker story.
But it is, though. I agree. It's a great story, and I'm not gonna deny that. But,
I think the Marvel universe. If you look and if you think about it in 20 years or something like that, if we're not going to be looking back on this like we're looking back on Superman right now, the original Superman. It's like, oh yeah, it was good, but I go back and I watch it again, and it's just so cheesy and corny and stuff like that. And I just
tastes change.
Exactly.
That's what happened with the original Batman series with Adam West. It was campy to begin with. It was meant to be funny, and it was meant for the whole family. And it was a monster hit. Yeah. And then it became a joke with comic book fans, and now it's being re-embraced for what it is, a different flavor of the Batman character and the way the stories were told. It's
nostalgia.
Yeah, really. There's nostalgia to it, but also there's genuine love for Adam West as an actor. I can see why. He's a great guy and very funny and very humble from what I've seen. And so people love him, and they love the fun that people were having making that show. So it's kind of gone almost all the way around again with that. And I think that's it. It remains to be seen how people will look at films like that. You look back at like you said, Superman with Christopher Reeve. The first one, the second one, the third and fourth, the less said about those, the better. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you might have a point. I'm going a long way to make a short statement. I think you may have a point. It's just gonna time will tell on that. You never know how tastes are gonna change.
Yeah.
Because no one would have thought of doing a Nolan style Batman in the 80s. That would have been ridiculous to consider.
Absolutely. Either way, it's going to come out, and I think we're all looking forward to it. And we're going to move on now to, I think, our biggest topic, and that is, of course, the news that Channing Tatum is out as Gambit. I'm not the biggest Gambit fan ever, so it's not, for me, I'm not heartbroken or anything like that. I was always kind of perplexed by the choice for Gambit to be Channing Tatum, just because, I don't know, I don't see it. I got a couple of guys in mind, I guess, but the first question is, Kurt, I don't think you cared all that much, but
I really don't.
But Tony, were you bummed to hear that? Did you like Channing Tatum as Gambit?
Well, I did like Channing Tatum for Gambit, but then again, how is his that New Orleans accent gonna play in, and if he can do that right and everything. But so it was cool when he was announced for it and everything, but I honestly wasn't that hurt when he when this morning when I was like, oh, he's not gonna be Gambit. Okay, well, all right, well, next up then.
Well, then we're going to put on our casting caps right now and go over who they have. I'm going to name my first guy, and I'm going to save the other one for after I hear some others.
Let me guess, you're going to say Justin Wilson, the Cajun cook.
No.
I guarantee I'm going to get... Oh, wait, no, wrong guy. Go ahead.
I was going to go with the cook from The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
No, just kidding. But no, actually, here's a guy I like. He has not done anything really of note since leaving the show he was known for, and that is Dexter himself, Michael C. Hall. You think about him, Gambit in the comics and in the X-Men animated TV series, which most people know him from, he's a tall, lanky man who speaks with a Cajun accent. True, Michael C. Hall he's a Southerner, but he's going to have to, pick up that dialect. However, he had those dark red eyes from the comics as well. Michael C. Hall is a tall, lanky guy, as I mentioned, or at least a slimmer guy. He has that stare that can be, the Dexter stare, as it were, and that smile that he's got, like a Grinch smile going on with how wide he can make it and everything like that. I think that those features would be perfect for Gambit. Again, he hasn't done anything.
Well, he's done. To be fair, he has done things. They've just not been
he's working.
He's done a lot of small films. He's also been on Broadway and Hedwig and The Angry Inch. Very successfully.
I'm saying he's working, but a talent like him can, I think, really benefit from getting involved in a comic book, series, and then being part of a several picture deal. Like Chris Evans, for instance, was not a huge Hollywood star before he signed on to be Captain America.
And there was a lot of I don't know about this before when he was cast as Captain America.
Exactly. So I think Michael C. Hall is my first is one of my choices, not my very, very first. The other guy though is even more farther out there.
Let's get Tony in there, and
I have to say That's really good.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
good.
not think of that.
Nope, it's good.
And when you guys were talking about his previous work in Gamer, did you guys ever see Gamer? Mm-hmm. Oh, he was awesome in Gamer. I mean, he played pretty much
delightfully evil.
exactly. And so that would have been that's a really good thing. What I wanted to see was, I mean, honestly, I know that, man, his movies have just not done well or anything, but I honestly wanted to see Taylor Kitsch have another stab at it. I know that, a lot of people were kind of iffy about his performance of it in Origins Wolverine, but honestly, I think that was more writing than anything, and I think that he did a fairly good job with what he was given, and I think it'd be cool just to see him come back and do Gambit again. So, but Michael C. Hall.
Everything about that decision or that idea, it doesn't. Well, think about it. I can't get the taste of X-Men Origin out of my mouth when he's running up the ladder and Wolverine is like a cartoon skit slashing the ladder down below him. It looks like Looney Tunes. But I didn't hate him as Gambit. He didn't have a lot to do. That was the thing. So he wasn't given a fair chance to shine. It's just that for some reason, everything that Taylor Kitsch gets his hands on, it just seems to go south, because you look at all the movies he's been part of. He's now part of True Detective Season 2. Oof. And Kurt, you hate it.
Yeah, no, it's despicable. I think, it's
I'm not
terrible.
saying it's all his fault.
No,
it's just another thing that he is.
There is no way that it's his fault at all. He's just involved in something that's got a whole lot of stink on it. You look at the hate that True Detective Season 2 gets online; it'll melt your brain, and deservedly so. It's just not good. But that's not what we're talking about. So, okay, all right.
Do you have another guy?
Honestly, no. I mean, I'm just going to say that I think your pitch for Michael C. Hall would be really, really good.
I think that works. It's a good idea.
Here's another guy now, and this one I had to do some digging for, and I don't even know if this would work, but when you look at him, he actually epitomizes Gambit. The long, dark hair, the slender frame, he can do the dark eyes and the smile and all that kind of jazz. Gaspard Ulliel, Ulliel, and I don't know if you know who that is. He was in Hannibal Rising, which is a terrible movie.
It is Hannibal, that kid that played Hannibal.
He was the young Hannibal, yes, and it was awful. Don't get me wrong; it was a terrible movie. He did the best with what he could, but it was just bad. However, you look at him and just Google a picture of him with some scruff facial hair, and he's got some up on YouTube, some headshots and stuff like that, or on Google. You can just see him playing Gambit. And the biggest thing, too, he's a French actor, and he's another guy who hasn't done a lot of stuff, at least when it comes to mainstream Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe I'm overshooting this. I don't know exactly, because correct me if I'm wrong, Kurt, the Cajun accent is a from a French dialect.
It's French and Southern all kind of meshed together.
So maybe
hot sauce.
Maybe a French-speaking, a fluent in French actor might be able to pull off a better Cajun accent, a fake one anyway, because that is not an easy one to learn and not an easy one to pull off.
No, and not effectively. You could do a bad one. A million of people have done bad ones. I guarantee, I tell you, I can do a bad one. They're not going to hire me for the role. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you may have you've definitely made some interesting nominations for the character that I don't have anything I can naysay about either one of those.
I have one more I just thought of.
Okay.
When you guys were talking about kind of the chiseled jaw features and the tall lengthiness and the hair, and it would have to be a very big departure, and it would have to be a very big stretch of character. Russell Brand.
Oh my.
Perhaps. I mean, like I said, it would have to be the right circumstances. He would have to really delve into the character, and it would have to be something that he would really have to act at. But he looks kind of like he could pull that off.
When you're talking about the look, you've nailed it. When you're talking about the look, and you're right, it would have to be a huge departure, and that would, that could be a Heath Ledger moment where it's like, oh my gosh, why did you cast Russell Brand of all people as Gambit? And he kills it, but yeah, the dark hair, long, I guess I don't know how difficult it is to pull off a Cajun accent when you usually speak with an English one, but and like you said, he'd have to really work hard, because I just can't see him doing anything else but the high-pitched, whiny voice that he has.
Here's an idle thought as well. Tom Hiddleston, I've already mentioned him earlier in the show. Tom is a great actor. He does great character. He's playing Hank Williams Sr., for crying out loud.
That's Loki, right?
Yeah, Loki.
Hank
He's
Williams
tall.
Sr.
He's thin. You give him scruff. He can do the voice. He could pull it off pretty well, too.
He could, but he's already in a Marvel comic book, and this would be, I think, Fox is doing the Gambit stuff.
That's true, yeah. Gosh.
Really, honestly, when you said Hank Williams Sr., I thought you were talking about like Beast's dad, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's Hank McCoy. I'm sorry.
We're talking about the country music legend. He is actually, and it's cool too. You can check out his.
It's a movie called I Saw the Light.
Yeah, and he's playing like festivals and singing in Hank Williams' voice, and
it's
Hank
amazing.
Hank is crazy distinct with his high pitched whine of a voice, and he's killing it, or at least in the clips that I saw of that. So he's
good,
going all out, no doubt. It'll be interesting to see which way they go. If Michael C. Hall or once again Gaspard Ulliel gets it, I don't know. I'm flying out to Hollywood or something.
Get Fox on the phone. We need him to talk to St. Paul Stat.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, that's very good. Okay, so you've both been tasked with the Crimson Peak trailer to watch and give me thoughts for next week. Anything else we want to throw in before we're done here today? Anyone?
I really don't have anything, no.
Nope.
Just to send them over to your tube reviews?
Yeah, please go and check out my tube reviews. I'm going to be doing the Mad Max Fury Road one, probably coming out either tomorrow or the next day.
Ooh.
And then also, and I loved it. So
I haven't seen it yet. I hate life.
It's one of those things to where once you see it, you're like, I cannot believe I waited.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculously
killing me.
good.
It's killing me.
Have you seen it, Adam?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's killing me.
Yeah, you guys got to check it out. But yeah, check out my tube review and also check out Completely Unoriginals YouTube channel.
Right on. Yeah, we are on YouTube. You can be our friend and listen to many shows. So, all right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for Adam St. Paul and Tony Zur. I'm Kurt Campbell. Thank you. And we'll talk to you next time.